President Joe Biden told Arab leaders on Saturday that the United States would remain an active partner in the Middle East, but he failed to secure commitments to a regional security axis that would include Israel or an immediate oil output rise.
The United States is invested in building a positive future in the region in partnership with all of you, and the United States is not going anywhere.
Biden, who began his first trip to the Middle East as president with a visit to Israel, presented his vision and strategy for America's engagement in the region at an Arab summit in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, with 6 Gulf states and Egypt, Jordan, and Iraq. The vision included the hope to lay the groundwork for a regional security alliance, including Israel, to combat Iranian threats. Saudi Arabia's foreign minister, Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud, said during a news conference after the summit that he was not aware of any discussions on a Gulf-Israeli defense alliance.
There is no discussion about a GCC-Israeli defense alliance or anything of this sort. The preferred course as regards Iran's nuclear program is, of course, dialogue and a diplomatic solution.
During a meeting Friday with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, also known as MBS, Biden raised the highly sensitive issue of human rights and the 2018 murder of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi, for which Biden said he holds the Crown Prince responsible. MBS denies the allegation. Biden had said he would make Saudi Arabia a pariah on the global stage over the killing by Saudi agents, but ultimately decided that the U.S. needs the help of the OPEC giant at a time of high crude prices and other problems related to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Saudi Arabia's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Adel Al-Jubeir, told Reuters Saturday that MBS said Khashoggi's killing was a painful episode and a terrible mistake, but that the kingdom had acted to prevent a repeat of such mistakes. He added that the U.S. has also made mistakes, including in Abu Ghraib and Iraq.
His Royal Highness also mentioned to the President that mistakes like this happen in other countries, and we saw a mistake like this being committed by the United States in Abu Ghraib, and that the United States took steps in order to deal with those who are found guilty and to ensure that mechanisms are put in place to prevent this from happening again. The idea that one can impose values on other countries, His Royal Highness made clear, it does not work. It has not worked when the U.S. tried to impose values on Afghanistan and Iraq. In fact, it backfired.
Biden sought to reach a deal on oil to drive down gasoline prices, but leaves the region empty-handed, hoping the OPEC Plus group, which includes Saudi Arabia, Russia, and other major oil producers, will boost production at a meeting on August 3rd.
Mindenkit nagyon nagy szeretettel köszöntök itt a Duna rakparton, és nagyon szépen köszönöm, hogy eljött.
Szombat délután, szóval ő fogalmazta meg az úgynevezett fontos
Csak azt akarom, hogy meg tudjak élni.
I just want to be able to live a normal life, not having to pinch pennies at the end of every month.
És most már se neki nincs.
It's just the two of us together now, no kids at home, and we can hardly make it to the end of the month. And we don't drink, don't smoke, or use drugs, and prices are just so high, and I think the government is to blame.
Szerintem ez az állam hibája.
Kim voltak a tereinken,
The President raised the issue of Jamal Khashoggi at the beginning of the meeting with His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, and the Crown Prince responded that this was a painful episode for Saudi Arabia and that it was a terrible mistake, that the kingdom launched an investigation into this matter, and that those who were accused were brought to trial and they were convicted, and those who were found guilty were convicted, and they are currently being punished by serving terms in prison. His Royal Highness also mentioned to the President that mistakes like this happen in other countries, and we saw a mistake like this being committed by the United States in Abu Ghraib, and that the United States took steps in order to deal with those who are found guilty and to ensure that mechanisms are put in place to prevent this from happening again. Royal Highness the Crown Prince explained to the President that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has taken measures to ensure that a situation like this cannot happen again. His Royal Highness also mentioned that in a number of countries around the world, you have situations where journalists are killed, and that those countries have to take steps in order to bring those responsible to justice and to ensure that it doesn't happen again. And he also raised the issue of the Palestinian-American journalist that was killed by the Israeli Defense Forces, and the need to ensure that this issue is properly dealt with. So these issues, unfortunately, mistakes happen all over the world, and the important thing is to deal with them effectively and decisively. The idea that one can impose values on other countries, His Royal Highness made clear, does not work. It has not worked when the US tried to impose values on Afghanistan and Iraq. In fact, it backfired.
Russia has ordered its forces in Ukraine to step up operations, its defense ministry said on Saturday, as rockets and missiles pounded the country. Kyiv says the latest bombardments have killed dozens of people in recent days. In this strike on an industrial plant in the central city of Dnipro, at least 3 people were killed and 15 injured. More missiles hit the northeastern Kyiv region, killing 3 people, including a 70-year-old woman, according to the regional governor. Russia's defense ministry said in a statement that Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu had ordered military units to step up their operations to prevent strikes on eastern Ukraine and other territories controlled by Russia. It said Shoigu gave the order after listening to reports from generals at a command centre. It wasn't clear from this footage provided by the ministry exactly when the meeting took place or whether they were in Ukraine at the time. Ukrainian rocket strikes using Western-supplied systems have destroyed more than 30 Russian military logistics centres in recent weeks and significantly reduced Russia's attacking potential, Ukraine said on Friday. In one of the deadliest Russian strikes of recent days, at least 23 people were killed on Thursday in a cruise missile strike on the city of Vinnytsia, according to Kyiv. Moscow, which launched what it calls its special military operation against Ukraine in February, has repeatedly denied targeting civilian areas. Wildfires spread further in southwest France on Saturday as Europe sweltered in a heat wave. More than 1,000 firefighters, supported by water bomber aircraft, have battled since Tuesday to control the 2 blazes, fanned by scorching heat, tinderbox conditions and strong winds. More than 12,200 people have been evacuated, and nearly 10,000 hectares of the Gironde region were ablaze on Saturday. Wildfires are also raging in Portugal and Spain. Officials issued health warnings for the heat wave, which is expected to continue in the coming days. In Spain, firefighters are tackling multiple blazes in the west, as a new wildfire broke out in the south. More than 400 people were evacuated from the hills of Mijas, a town popular with northern European tourists in the province of Malaga. Officials are worried about the effects on people's health and on already challenged healthcare systems as the searing heat sweeps the continent. Higher temperatures are expected in Britain in particular in the coming days.